Sunny ways, my friends. Sunny ways.
Your 16 seconds are up. I'm going to ask you again because nobody believes you when you say you don't know how much money your family has got from the wheat group. You've had a month to look into that. You knew you were going to testify here. Again, how much money total have your brother, mother, and spouse received from this organization? How much?
That information has been publicly shared. I will highlight.
Well, then tell me what it is.
Can you dig it? Can you dig it? Can you dig it?
We have recently switched to drinking water bottles out of water out of when we have water bottles out of plastic. Away from plastic towards paper, like drink box water bottles, sort of thing. Sorry,
the servicing costs on the debt that you're going to have to carry that you're adding to now, right?
Interest rates are at historic lows, Glenn.
Where's the funds?
On the topic, I mean, in terms of your sort of strategy currently, you're obviously taking the populist pathway.
What does that mean? Oh, Justin, you're awake. You made it. Have a seat. Have a coffee. You need some wakey time.
Let's cut that Disney Plus subscription. So we cut it. It's only $13.99 a month that we're saving, but every little bit helps.
A lot of people would say that you're simply taking a page out of the Donald Trump book.
Like which people would say that?
Well, I'm sure a great many Canadians, but...
Like who?
I don't know who, but...
Well, you're the one who asked the question, so
yeah.
You must know somebody. Yeah, that's all that's coming off. There's nothing else coming off, yeah. I'm not Justin Trudeau here. Let's fucking go!
Let's fucking go.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to The Fringe. Welcome to a surprise Chill and Chat stream. I do have to apologize for not posting earlier that this stream was going to happen. Just kind of sitting around getting the house starting to pack it up and get ready for our move next month. I kind of felt like, hey, you know what? Nothing's better on a Wednesday night than sitting around chatting with my community. I think I'm going to go live. I think I'm going to chat with you guys because, boy, a lot has happened today. It's going to be a great show. We got a lot to talk about tonight. Xylo hit it wrong. 'Tis not a Friday. No, it is a surprise stream. Xylo, welcome in. Let's get going. DMAC mentioning, oh my God, what a liar Trudeau is. It sounded a lot like he was talking about himself, really, especially with the CPC lawyer. Trudeau kept saying money. Trudeau, of course, on the stand today for the public inquiry. I'm going to have a video about that tomorrow, so I don't want to talk too much about that tonight. I know everybody's completely taken back by what happened today. Excuse me. And we are going to get into that. I'm going to have that tomorrow, and then we're going to talk about more about that on Friday. So again, you don't have to wait long, folks. I do want to talk about a few things tonight because, again, we've talked about how Justin Trudeau has turned the whole country against him. I'm going to get into that tonight as well. Again, if you watch today's video, I did a little bit of explaining in that. Let's get a usual roll call going on, guys. We got 220 people in here all of a sudden, which is surprising for this time of night. Let's get a roll call. Let's see if we can get somebody from every province in Canada as per usual. Let me know where you're watching from. If it's your first time in here, let me know down in the chat because, boy, our numbers have been growing and growing. We can't seem to slow down, which is a good thing. Let's get it going and let's get it going. Let's get our roll call going. We got Kitty the Prepping Cat coming in, saying, hi, Derek, from my son, Robert, and I. Hugs to your wife and kids from Tweed, Ontario. Great job you're doing. I appreciate that. Welcome into the stream. Great to see you in here. We've got JM coming in from Ontario near Toronto. That's okay. At least not right in the middle of Toronto. Karen Lysak from Ontario, also a member of the Patriots Club. Karen, welcome into the stream. Great to see you in here. We've got M Hobbs 22 coming in from Victoria, BC. We got HUD coming in from Ontario, and it's my first live. HUD, welcome in to the Fringe. It's great to have you here. Welcome. It's always great to see new folks in the stream. Getting a little tongue-tied. Taylor Maid coming in from Saskatchewan. How are you? We've got Andy from Kingston. Wayne coming in from Cochrane. We've got Peggy from Saskatchewan. Canadian Poke Freak. I almost said Poke Freak. I'm assuming it's a Pokemon reference. Welcome in, Berta, and for the first time, it's great to have you in here, especially a fellow gamer if you're into that Pokemon stuff. Great to have you in here. Alan coming in from Vivenby, BC. It's great to have you here. Len Kopp coming in from Alberta. We've got Terry Ann from Saskatchewan. We've got Mike coming in from Kootenay, BC. We've got West Coast CNC, another member of the Patriots Club. Welcome in from Chilliwack, BC. It's great to have you all here. We've got Page Rage coming in from Wetaskiwin, Alberta. I don't know if you know this, but cars cost less in Wetaskiwin. There's a joke. If you know it, you know it. Bertie, formerly from Miami, Manitoba, now in Cowtown. Welcome in. It's great to have you back in the stream, Bertie. Julia from Ontario. Great to have you in here as well. James coming in from Sudbury, Ontario. We got DMAC from Let's Go Brandon, Manitoba. Great to have you in here again, DMAC. Welcome back in. We got Ruth from Godric, Ontario. Mary Ross from Saskatchewan. First time. Man, we got a lot of first timers in here tonight, guys. Well, welcome into the Fringe. It's great to have all these new viewers in here tonight. We've got Donna from Barhead, Alberta. Good for moving out of Calgary. Like your chats. I appreciate that. We're going to talk a little bit about that tonight. Not too much, because I hate when the streams take up personal stuff, but hey, everybody seems to be interested in that. We're going to get into that. RX Dr. Daddy coming in from Boston, Massachusetts. Oh my God, he's coming in from Boston. Hey, you ever see them Boston girls? Welcome in. It's good to have you in the stream. We got Diane Piggott coming in from BC, Fort St. John. We got Hemi DX coming in from Coburg, Ontario. Welcome in. Kenzie coming in from Airdrie. Welcome in. Great to have you here. Maureen from Calgary, Alberta. Great to have you in here. Tana coming in from Drumheller. Great to have you in here. Who else do we got? You Thunder coming in from North Quebec. Welcome in. It's great to have you here. We've got Justice Warrior from Laval, Quebec as well. CB from Oil Frickin' Berta. Hell yeah. Welcome in, CB. Great to have you in here. We've got Stephen Fication. I hope I'm pronouncing that right, coming in from Alberta. We got DMAC welcoming in the new people as well. It's great to see these new folks in here. We've got Andros Kid coming in from Leduc. Welcome in. Joseph from Raymond, Alberta. JM, I'm going to share this on my community tab right now, FYI. JM, thank you. Thank you for sharing that out. Guys, get those thumbs up in the chat as well if you're enjoying the content. Really helps push us out there for anybody who doesn't know that we're streaming live. We got Area Den coming in from North Dakota. I love North Dakota. My family and I used to vacation in Grand Forks sometimes. Cheap shopping as a kid in the 80s. Fargo was another town. If you guys ever watched the show Fargo or the movie, takes place in that town. Great state. Love North Dakota. Love to my Americans. Welcome in. Hello from downtown Calgary. It's now a 30-day wait for the food bank services in Calgary. I can't believe that. Jason, welcome in. I hope everything's well. John coming in. Hey, Derek, how you doing? I am fantastic. I hope you're well, John. Welcome in to the stream. It's great to have you in here. Vivenby is how it's pronounced. I apologize. Welcome in. It's great. It's great to see you guys. We got Barb from Saskatchewan. We got Megan from Windsor, Ontario. CB saying about Wetaskiwin, no joke, it's a slogan. There you go. Pat from Kingsville, Ontario, welcome in. Colin of Rocky Mountain House, great town, welcome in. Duke TV Gaming coming in from London, Ontario. What about the $2 billion Freeland was giving away to a company that hasn't even been created yet? Again, I'm going to get into those things on Friday. We're still going to talk Trudeau tonight, so please don't think that it was a clickbait title. I am going to get into it. But we got lots to talk about. We got lots. I just want to save the good stuff for when Mrs. Fringe is here on Friday, because she's very excited to talk about the public inquiry and everything going on. We got Linda coming in from Lethbridge. Mark from Sacramento, California. Man, we got a lot of Americans in here tonight. Great to have you guys here. Mike from, we got Mike from Canmore. I hope you like the Flames. There's a good old Royal Canadian Air Force joke for you. Kat coming in from Timmins, Ontario. Jason from Fort Saskatchewan. Zylo saying for first timers might be a bit of a gaming stream with a sprinkle of politics. No games tonight. We're going strictly politics. A lot of people complaining about when I do gaming streams. I'm maybe going to part those out onto a secondary channel. So the gaming streams aren't going away. Just they're probably not going to be on here for people who, get salty over that kind of thing. But yeah, we're going to talk politics tonight. It's going to be great. We're going to have some great stuff to talk about. Dalla coming in from Montreal area in Quebec. Welcome in. Great to have you here. Did I get everybody? We got Jeanette Kamloops, BC. West Coast saying soon to be Red Deer. I'm assuming you're moving to Red Deer. If that's the case, if I unless I missed something in the chat, well, good to hear that. Hope you enjoy it. John from Montreal. HUD saying, I watch you all the time, but I'm happy to be here for my first live. I hope you enjoy it. It's going to be great. I can't wait to get into things tonight with you guys. Barb saying, I've been with you since the convoy. Thank you. Great to have you in, Barb. Michael from Calgary, first live, another first. Hey guys, you never forget your first, right? Welcome in. Great to have you here. Where are you moving to? Said TaylorMade. We're actually packing up. We're moving to Spruce Grove, Alberta, about 20 minutes west of Edmonton. I know people say Edmonton's, but it's not Edmonton. And it's a nice small town, a conservative stronghold. Love it. Can't get enough of it. Looking forward to it. I'm going to talk a little bit about that tonight because we have some announcements to make in regards to events that were being held. So stick around, guys. It's going to be great. We got the Gimster coming in once again from British Columbia. Great to see you in here. Did I get everybody? I think I did. I think no. Mr. Hunt. I'm not going to get caught on that one. Coming in from Sask. Welcome in. It's great to have you here. Mitchell coming in from Manitoba. Guys, I got to get caught up. We're getting lagged behind here. Stevenification saying you'll love Spruce Grove. Would love to meet you. We're going to talk about that too. We're going to talk about that tonight. Welcome in. It's good to have you guys here. Good to have everybody here. If you watched today's video, if you took a look at today's video, Justin Trudeau getting so the reason the video said he was attacked out front of his office, Chris Dacey, good friend of the channel from Dacey Media, had a video showing Justin Trudeau's motorcade pulling up in front of his offices just across the street from Parliament Hill in Wellington. Of course, about 24 or 36 Palestinian protesters, we'll say, standing out front, no more than 50, standing out front of his office with flags chanting that Trudeau had to go. They were hitting his cars. Of course, the RCMP did nothing, and Justin Trudeau had to speed away like a coward, like he always does. We saw this as I covered the protest just about a week and a half to 2 weeks ago when he was pulling up for a Liberal fundraiser and had to bail on the event because there were way more protesters outside chanting that he had to go, again with the Palestinian flags. It's always good to talk about these things. I know Taylor's saying it was staged. I do believe it was staged. That's what the stream was about. I wanted to talk a little bit about that and why it's important, why we have to keep our eyes on the prize here, because this is a distraction. Now, when I report the news or current events on YouTube, I pretty much just report the news. I save the gossip stuff for streams. It's part of the reason I wanted to sit down and talk to you guys. I'm being told that when you watch the video clips from last week with the Palestinian protesters chanting death to Canada, death to America, that this was an American that has been paid as an actress to come into Canada and that essentially manages this group that stood outside of, I was told it was an art gallery in downtown Vancouver, burning flags, stepping on the flag. I don't really care if you're paid. I don't care if you're here for the wrong reasons. If you're burning our flag, it's time to go. If you're throwing our flag on the ground and stomping all over it, it's time to go. If you're tearing our flag in half, it's time to go. I want to cite a tweet from the pleb in a second. But first, I got to get onto the Gimsters. $6.99 super chat. Thank you so much. Mr. Hunt has a first name. It's quite rude to omit the good sir. Please rectify it next time. Michael Hunt is in the streams. There you go, Gimster. You guys, you're not going to catch me on that one. Come on. You're not going to catch me sleeping. When I say that Trudeau, again in the title of this video, has turned Canada against him, the pleb put out an interesting tweet today. One that I think is very worthy of following up. I just need to find it. He tweets so much during the day. I should have had it ready. And the reason I don't was because I was getting another tweet ready that seems to have been deleted. And again, I'm gonna have to get that out for you. Um, I can't seem to find it in his timeline. That's okay. We'll just talk about it. I won't pull it up. You'll have to take my word for it, I suppose, about the pleb. Here's what happened on the pleb. The pleb tweeted out tonight that his father, who lives in Quebec, sorry, everybody, don't get offended. I should have bookmarked it. So John, I saw it on my feed, and then stupid Twitter, whenever I pull it up on my phone, the tweet will be sitting there right front and center, and then all of a sudden Twitter will reload and put a whole bunch of new stories in front of me. Yes, I should have bookmarked it, but it was something that I just thought of as we were talking here. But I wanted to cite it because it shows just how fed up with Canadians, or how fed up Canadians are with Justin Trudeau. So the pleb had cited that for the first time ever, his father had admitted that he's not that he's typically a left supporter. He's typically somebody who would sway toward the liberal platform. But for the first time in his life, he admitted to his son, the pleb, that he's donated to the Conservative Party of Canada, mostly because he's fed up and hates Justin Trudeau. Now, we've seen across Canada throughout the last few months, especially since the St. Paul's by-election, that the Liberals' days are numbered. St. Paul's was a conservative stronghold. There are projections that Pierre Poilievre and the Conservatives are going to take the majority of Toronto at this point. And when you say Toronto, well, it's just one city, Derek, that's that small pocket of Canada that matters the most when it comes to our federal elections due to population density. And those ridings are just as critical as St. Paul's because they've been Liberal strongholds for decades. This is communities of people that are completely fed up, that are tired of Justin Trudeau. They really have no reason to vote for him. Now, anytime I look at the polls, anytime I go to Local 338, I'm always taken back by this 20-something percent who still feels that Justin Trudeau is capable of doing his job. Again, I put those down to maybe the younger generation who are uneducated, who don't understand politics, or adults who are under the delusion that Justin Trudeau is somehow doing a good job. I really don't understand how anybody can pull that information and say with a straight face that Justin Trudeau is doing a good job in Canada. Of course, anytime I see the tweets going out supporting Justin Trudeau, immediately I think bots, because let's face it, anytime I've met somebody in person or online where they've said Justin Trudeau is a great prime minister, the first thing I ask them is, name one thing he's done that is beneficial. Now, Justin came out yesterday all over Twitter to let people know, hey, check your bank accounts. We might have frozen it. No, I'm joking. No, he said, check your bank accounts because the carbon rebates had come in. Now, we checked our bank account. There was nothing, of course, because we simply make too much money on our average incomes to get any kind of a carbon rebate. I've been told that a lot of Canadians don't see this rebate. I'm curious if you guys are in the chat, if you feel like disclosing, if you did get the rebate or didn't, feel free to throw it up in the chat. But to my knowledge, a lot of people don't get this rebate that Justin claims more Canadians, or what is it, 8 out of 10 Canadians get more back than they put in. We've put a ton in. Canadians in general have put a ton in to his green slush funds, which again, he won't disclose his documents to the RCMP. But we get nothing back. Did anyone get money back? Well, Terry's saying, hiya, Derek, no rebate here. There you go. Justice Warrior, no rebate here. Crystal saying no rebate, family of 4. Knight of Falima saying, I owe the government and they screwed me out of the carbon rebate. My goodness, I'm so sorry to hear that. Anderson Kid saying, my wife and I don't get anything. DMAC, I got no carbon scam rebate. There you go. Andy, carbon rebate? What carbon rebate? Please don't call Trudeau Mr. T. Mr. T is awesome. Trudeau's not. Pity the fool who calls Justin Trudeau Mr. T. Don't degrade an icon. Come on. Mr. T, can't do that. Tarantula Man saying no rebate here in Quebec. Cash Dub in BC, we got sucker punched. I'm assuming that means no rebate. Pat Daly saying I didn't get mine either. I did the other time. Okay, there you go. Princess Thickness, welcome into the stream. No rebate. I live in Montreal, so we don't get it. Oh, right, because Quebec is exempt or something, isn't it? I think it's something along those lines. Didn't get anything, not even once, says Mr. Steal Your Blocks. Welcome into the stream. Mystical, I got the rebate. Okay, so it does exist. Some people do get it. There you go. Nick saying, haven't seen it yet. My parents don't get it either. Susie says, nope. The jab like Trudeau. Maybe it's the jab that gets all these rebates. Maybe they're the 8 out of 10 that get them, is that if you follow Herr Trudeau and do what he says. I'm scrolling back into the chat to get caught up, and everybody's saying no. I keep seeing no's in the chat. Maybe if you pander to Justin Trudeau, you get the rebate. I don't know how it works. It's crazy, but the point of the matter is that oh wait, hang on. I see something about the CRA. Sean's saying the CRA usually takes the carbon rebate and puts it into the amount you owe if you owe them money. They take anything and put it into what they owe if you owe them money. Carson Sexsmith with $2 super chat. I got $315 today. Thank you so much for the super chat. Again, I'm sure you've put in much more than $315. How often do you get the rebate though? Again, we don't get it, so I'm not aware. I believe it was twice a year you're supposed to get that top up. So if the average Canadian was getting say $500-$600, because I heard somebody online say yesterday they got 500 and something. You're looking at about $1,000 a year, which again, when you look at your utility bills, your fuel, your food, everything that gets taxed under the carbon tax, are you really getting back more than you put in? I highly doubt it. I doubt it. When it comes to the Canada Revenue Agency, we had this problem with Canada Revenue Agency. In fact, during lockdowns, there was a period where my wife lost her job. Again, I hadn't got onto the YouTube scene yet. I hadn't published how the Prime Minister stole freedom yet. I was a stay-at-home dad full time. Things were tight. My wife lost her job. We had some savings. We had a line of credit. And we were trying to get through unemployment insurance for the time being until my wife could find another job. Now, with a lot of businesses not doing in-person working, it's really hard to interview for a job when Justin Trudeau is keeping you locked in your house. So, of course, I had started a small business online at the time in the gaming industry, selling artwork for people's game rooms. Now, that business took off, and I was making a couple $100 here and there. But the bottom line was that it was a registered business. I am registered as a corporation in my home, and that was one of the things where I said, okay, so we've made the minimum $5,000 required. Maybe for a month or two until you get on your feet, we'll take the Canada, the CERB, the CERB. I don't like taking those things, and we didn't want to unless we had to. But again, with 3 kids in the house, with no finances coming in, and that being the only offer that Justin Trudeau put forward, we said, let's do it. Now, I provided documentation to the government that, look, I just got in under the radar, but I've made $5,000 in my crappy side hustle. I've paid taxes on it this year. Here are my taxes that I filed. Here are all the receipts for all the orders people had put through. Doesn't say here that I have to be employed by a business, just that I had to have made over $5,000 in revenue over the last year. So I said, I would like to apply for CERB. They gave me CERB. And then after about 4 weeks, they cut it off. And they said that they were going to claw back everything that we got in the CERB. Now, by that time, my wife had found a job and things were fine. But I'm going to get into that in a second. Mr. Steal Your Blocks, the $5 super chat. We'll never see any sort of rebate ever. You don't want to know how much I owe CRA. Veterans Affairs effed me so hard. I'm sorry to hear that. Our veterans certainly should be getting more help and assistance than getting screwed over by the government. I digress. As we did our taxes, the CRA clawed back every dollar that they took in, that they gave in CERB. And they said, if you don't pay this back, we're going to essentially take it from every rebate you get. Now, I've checked our records. We didn't get the carbon rebate because obviously it would have gone back over that. But we don't get any rebates ever because I refused. I asked them, do you take this to collections? Do you come from my house? Like, what do you do? And they said, actually, this is a separate entity from owing taxes or owing the government. While you still owe the government, there's nothing we can really do about it. It's just going to sit on your record. To which point I said, well, then good, let it sit there. I'm not paying you any money. You steal my money all year long. I'm not going to give you a dime. So they just said any carbon rebates you get or any kind of income tax returns or rebates that you get from your taxes, those will just be taken off. I said, you go ahead, you take your time. You're going to be waiting a long time for that money, Government of Canada. Um, I'm not giving it back because I met the threshold. They argued and said, perhaps this was just a hobby for you. And I said, that doesn't matter if it was a hobby. Your stipulation was $5,000 in income. I was over that amount. Here's the paperwork. They gave every excuse in the world not to take it. Till finally, again, my accountant, once I got into publishing, he went and cleared everything up. And thank God for that. JM Unleashed with $5 super chat. I don't like to take money from the government because I consider it to be proceeds of theft. All taxation is theft. I'm the same. CB chiming in. The wife got taken off EI regular payments based on her income and put on the CERB amount. Geez, that's Carson with another $5 super chat. I was paying $65 a month carbon tax to heat my home. Who knows how much of an increase in gasoline prices and anything else, but that's the point, is that Justin Trudeau makes these comments all the time in question period in the House of Commons and media. 8 out of 10 Canadians get more back than they put in. Pierre Poilievre, of course, coming out saying no. Even what was it? The Governor General who said that's not, or the finance minister, whoever. I'm sorry, my mind is scrambled today. I should know who we're talking about, but they turned back and said, no, you don't get that much back. You don't get back more than you put in. And Pierre's called it out every single time, of course. Parliamentary budget officer. Thank you, John. I'm so sorry. Guys, I've been calling lawyers all day today. I've been calling moving companies. I've been calling real estate agents. I'm all over the place. I've got my final inspection on the house coming in tomorrow. So in amongst all these phone calls and arrangements, I've been cleaning a home. My brain is scrambled. So forgive me tonight for not being on the ball. But parliamentary budget officer calling out Justin Trudeau's shenanigans, saying, "Nah, look, you put in way more than you get back. In fact, if you get anything back, it's not a benefit at all." Justin Trudeau has ultimately turned Canadians against him. We go back as far as last Christmas even and look at Justin Trudeau saying that the only way we get a white Christmas is if we pay more carbon tax. Qu'est-ce que fuck? What? What are you saying? Pardon my French, guys, but I mean, what are we talking about? So we'll only get snow if we pay more carbon tax. This is the same as Stephen Guilbeault talking about the recent hurricanes in the United States, saying, well, if we just paid more carbon tax, these hurricanes wouldn't exist. Sorry, what? Under what laws? Like when you talk about heat pumps, when you talk about all this lunacy, again, keep in mind, there is a small percentage of the population that believe what these clowns are toting, what they're selling. Taylor saying, I love your scrambled egg brain. Thank you. I like to try and keep it professional, but sometimes, guys, especially after a long day of screaming children, it's tough to stay in the same. This is again why I bring Mrs. Fringe on Fridays, because she kind of keeps things grounded. She keeps it stable. John saying groceries suck, rent sucks, housing renegotiations. OMG, how are we going to deal with it? I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine. Alan saying mental illness is real. Mental illness is real. We're going to talk about a cracker of a story about mental illness coming up. So stay tuned. Hang on 1 second. Let's go into this one. Tamara saying, I applied for my disability tax credits and the government took my AB carbon rebates off. I moved to BC, said I was not entitled for the carbon tax rebate. What you just, it's what I described in my situation. I'm so sorry. This is where, again, I hate hearing these stories. I'm glad that you guys chime in. I'm glad that it's made aware to the public that, I'm not just dressing this up, that this does happen, but every time this happens, I feel for everybody. David saying, Derek and Fringe, don't panic. I think you'll find a nice house soon. We found a house. We bought a house. Our house is sold as of next week. All the conditions are lifted. Again, our inspections tomorrow. The new house was closed the same day we sold this house. And we move on the 28th of November. So everything's done. I appreciate your kind words, David, but hey, we're not panicked. We're good. GoCo gifting 10 unacceptable Fringe memberships to the Patriots Club. Welcome to all 10 new Patriots in the Patriots Club. It's great to have you guys in here. Thank you so much for that generous donation to the channel. Man, You guys are too much tonight. I'm always so humbled when I see those come in because I don't request it. I'm very humbled anytime somebody wants to support the channel. Thank you. Thank you, GoCo. Thank you to everybody who supports the channel doing that. Somebody saying you have a bot. Do we have a bot? What's the name of the bot? Let's get rid of them. Snatch is in here. Snatch, you're a mod. Do we have a bot? Can we get rid of the bot? Where's this bot? Do we have Ingrid, can you fill me in on what's going on? So we were just talking about Trudeau, and again, the video from earlier today with him getting ganged up on in Ottawa. We're going to get on to some interesting stories here because I had a good one. User is THR bot. THR bot. Let me scroll back. Let's see if we can find this. Guys, I don't want to hold up the stream. Where is it? Where are you? THR bot. Was it already deleted? Did one of my mods catch it already? I don't see THR bot in the chat. I'm scrolling. Sorry guys, the chat moves so fast. You guys have been so great tonight so far. Almost 700 people in the live right now. I don't see THR bot in here. What I do see is Carson Sexsmith with another $5 super chat. Mental health problems are real. Liberal voters are proof. We're going to get into that. Thank you so much again for the $5 super chat. I don't see a THR bot in here. Did I miss it? The user is named user and they had a Palestinian flag. I don't see it. I don't see it. Snatch, if you see this pop up, if you're still in the stream, can you remove it? Snatch is watching for it there, guys. Yeah, Snatch has it on. Let's get on to what we have to talk about. Something interesting happened today. And we're going to get off of Trudeau for a second because I had an very interesting conversation on Twitter today. One that I want to share because it does stem a little bit off of the politics, but at the same time, it's relevant in why we're in the place that we're at with this roughly 20-something% that still supports Justin Trudeau. And I think it's good to bring it up. So I seen a post today. Now, if you ever go on Twitter or X, however you want to call it, a lot of the people that I follow when they post, of course, their tweets come up. But also people who talk about certain issues, which usually is on the left side of the spectrum, I tend to see their tweets pop up a lot too. Now, this user by the name of Queer Granddad, he does have a verified account on Twitter. He posts a lot. He put out a blog. He said, talking about phobic people and why people can't accept that he is a queer grandfather, that he looks at life in a certain way, how people are bigots, how I believe, I forget who he was addressing and I can't pull it up because, well, I've been blocked by Queer Granddad. I want to get into the tweet because it proves my point with why the left is intolerable and why we've got a problem right now in this country when it comes to dialect and having a conversation. This has nothing to do with the gay community or my opinions on the gay community, because I don't have an opinion on the gay community. You're allowed to be whatever you want to be. I'm going to get into my opinions because it is highlighted in this tweet, because I invited this person to come on the channel. I've often said I'm up for public discourse because this is the way we get things solved, is by sitting down and having a civil conversation. So let's take a look at the tweet that I put out after he had posted about his blog. Now I will show for context sake that Wilbur Turner at Queer Granddad has blocked me, but it was after making this thread of posts. And I want to get into something because he had said how this person was phobic. He said Curtis Stone. I don't know if he's referring to Curtis Stone, the chef, the Australian chef, or if it was a different Curtis Stone. I chimed in as to why he lives thinking that everybody's phobic, that everybody's against him, that nobody's going to allow him to have his way of life. Here's what I said. Allow me to give you some perspective and advice so you'll no longer have to deal with living like this. We're all happy that you're a proud grandfather. In today's society, with the vast majority being accepting, I can tell you that the reality is that nobody cares that you're queer. The problem with anyone making any comments is that you crave attention for cannon fodder like this. You enjoy it. You put your sexual preferences on blast like a badge that you're owed some form of privilege for being who you are. Meaning, you want above and beyond what the norm is. It's not about acceptance, you want over acceptance. If you want the negative comments to stop, live your best life and stop cramming it into everything society does and just be a proud grandfather. What you do in your relationships and in your life and in your home is none of our business. I've produced children. I'm a straight man. No one throws me a parade or has a flag in a shop telling me to come in. I simply live my days satisfied with who I am. You're free to see yourself any way you want, but demanding the world participate in your perception and preferences or face labels of phobic behavior is infringing on one's right to choose and believe. And isn't that what you're fighting for? The right to choose. Live your life, stop putting labels and flags on everything, and we will all find the world is much easier to live in than you make it out to be. So, again, what I've stated in this comment, and the reason that I think it's so relevant, is this guy was saying he's targeted, that he's frowned upon for his choices about whether it's trans, whether it's queer, whether it's gay, whether it's anything. And what I'm saying is that when you put it out in society that poor me, I don't get acceptance, people hate me, people mock me, people don't give me the rights that I want. Well, it's because it's attached to everything. It's attached to our media, it's attached to what we consume, it's attached to retail, it's attached to days, weeks, months, seasons. It's always being pushed. Accept it in schools, accept it everywhere. And it's not just acceptance, it's overkill. Morgan Freeman once had an interview where they talked about Black History Month, and he made the best claim on that Black History Month, which was, do they have a White History Month? The reporter said no. And he said, well, why not? And his point in that conversation was, is he said, when I stop talking to you and I'm just Morgan Freeman, I cease being a black man, and you stop being a white man. We're just two people having a conversation. And that was the point I was trying to make. I'm going to get back to the story, but Goko Donnie again gifting another 10 unacceptable fringe memberships to the Patriots Club. Thank you so much. Wow, unbelievable. Thank you. That's amazing. So the Morgan Freeman interview went on, and it proves a point that when we live in society that constantly pushes this belief of you have to portray things by pandering all the time, well, you're making somebody's sexuality or the way somebody views themselves more important than the subject matter that you're participating in, whether it be your job, whether you're shopping for clothing, whether you're buying products at a restaurant or a food place. When you see the flags on stores that say everyone's welcome here, I mean, it's just pandering. None of these businesses care that you're trans, that you're straight, that you're gay, that you're whatever. They want your money. When you look at the current generation of women who are feminists, they talk about equality, and they talk about saying that we want equal rights. You know, if you've ever seen the video of Donald Trump being grilled by a woman saying, "Will I get paid the same as a man, and can I make the same choices to do whatever I want with my body?" And Donald Trump replies, "You'll get paid if you do a good job. You'll get paid the same." There's women out there that tout that there's a wage gap, that women are paid differently than men. I'm going to put that to rest right now. As somebody who spent a long time in business, if there was a pay gap, if women did in fact make less money than men, then no men would be hired in any business. Businesses would hire strictly women because they could get cheap labor and make record profits. So it's such a stupid statement to come out and say that there's discrimination against women, that they're paid differently than men. That's not how it works. That's not how the world works. Companies would save millions every year if they just hired women, if that was the case. Men would have no relevancy in the workforce. That being said, these feminists, or feminazis as I call them, they want above equality. They want dominance. They want you to worship the ground they walk on. These men haters that say, well, it's about us having our rights. It's not. It's about dominance over the men. It's about being more than men, which really makes your argument of equality a paradox. It's irrelevant. Now, this gentleman, of course, having his tirade after I made this comment, says, I'm surprised this is still on here. Thank you for sharing your opinion, but there are some misconceptions that need to be addressed. First, being queer isn't a sexual preference. Never stated it was a sexual preference, or a lifestyle choice. I didn't get a choice in who I am. We're not fighting for the right to choose. So again, what I'm talking about is when you're telling people they're bigots, if you don't acknowledge their belief structure, that's what you're arguing over the right to choose. You're saying, let me have my choices in life, whether I'm gay, straight, how I live my life, how I view myself. But if you don't accept it, you're this, that, and the other thing. Well, that's no different than telling a gay person they're terrible for being gay. You're contradicting yourself, is what I'm saying. Goko Donnie with another $20 super chat. Name something a liberal does. Insist that there's a gender pay gap, then eliminate gender altogether, but insist there's gender pay gaps still exist. There you go. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So essentially, you're being a hypocrite. Your hypocrisy is showing when you say, I have the right to choose, but you don't when it comes to my acceptance. Carson Sexsmith, $5 super chat. Not to mention, women tend to outproduce men in the workplace. Pay gap is BS. Yeah, I agree. He says, when I speak about being queer, it's not about seeking validation or privilege. I beg to differ. It's about visibility, standing up against the idea. So here it is. It's not about validation. It's about visibility. That's the same thing. You want people to pander. You want them to sit down. Oh, sorry. Oh, you're a step above everybody else. Right? Standing up against the idea that the alphabet people should remain silent or hide who they are. Representation matters, especially for younger generations who need to know they are not alone and have role models who live authentically. Again, nobody's saying you can't, but you have to stop making it relevant all the time, is what I'm saying. If there's a troubled youth who says, I'm worried to talk to my parents. I've always known I'm this way. I'm worried about persecution from them. Then somebody hopefully is around that they can talk to, a friend, whoever, that they can feel comfortable with to realize what they need to do in order to talk about things. He says, as for no one cares, the unfortunate truth is that discrimination and hate crimes are still very real. Just because there's more acceptance today doesn't mean that we're living in a world free of phobia. Sharing my story isn't about asking for a parade. It's about challenging the stigma and pushing for true equality. You have equality. You're allowed to get married. You're allowed to get divorced. You're allowed to go out in public as a couple. You're allowed to not be discriminated against in public. You're allowed to pay taxes, the rest of us. You're allowed to live your life free of persecution. So what equality are you referring to? Mr. Steal Your Books, or Steal Your Blocks, I'm sorry. Hate this wage gap BS. Know how many female diesel mechanics I've met in 20 years, less than 10, and I know about 600 total. There you go. Thank you for the super chat. So he goes on to do his rant. And this is where it gets interesting. I said, would you be willing to come on my show and debate me? I do not attack and prefer to have an adult discussion. Just because two people see the world differently does not mean they cannot have a civil discourse and attempt to hash out perspectives. So again, he replies, being queer is not a choice, preference, or lifestyle to be debated, nor is it subject to exploit for views and sensationalism. Never once said that. My identity, like many others in the alphabet mafia, is not up for scrutiny or justification, and certainly not for someone else's entertainment on a platform that thrives on controversy rather than meaningful dialogue. Well, I just asked you for meaningful dialogue. In fact, my tweet said, just because we share two different viewpoints doesn't mean we can't have an adult dialect. So I'm not going to go on into his rant, but I said, I'm not asking for a debate based on entertainment. I'm stating if you're wanting to educate, I'm offering you a platform, and that I believe that the culture is what is up for debate, not your lifestyle. If this is something you care about, feel free to come on. No thanks. I do not wish to be involved in your infotainment platform. And I said, then clearly you've proven my point. It's not about acceptance or discourse. You're looking for and crave the negative attention. He says, the only point that's been proven is it's your opinion that queer people should hide their queerness in the closet, lest it angers people and causes them to rage on about you on social media, calling about PDF files and danger to children. And then you want to debate about how that's not relevant. Here's the thing. So now he's putting words in my mouth. Now he's saying that I have said that he needs to hide everything, that he can't come out. Again, I've been showing you guys the entire chain. Nowhere in this chain have I said, you're not allowed to be this, you shouldn't be this, you should be ashamed of this, you should hide it. I put nice gaslighting, again, proving my point, enjoy your attention seeking. He says, coming from the guy who makes a living from attention seeking. Now, the reason I'm bringing up this tweet is because afterwards he has blocked me, but not before putting out a defaming tweet where he tagged my original post. Again, now it's been blocked. So I can't see it because it limits who can view it. But I want to make a clear point here that he came out and said, I attacked his lifestyle, I attacked his belief structure, that because I'm somebody who got a video pulled for calling Chrystia Freeland to say that she smells like cat piss, which tells me he watches this channel. So thanks for the view, I guess. It tells me that this person really doesn't have a clue that, again, this is attention seeking, because if they really wanted to talk about how important it is for them to be visible in public, how to be treated in public, they'd come on the platform. I said several times, in fact, I pointed it out in the thread, I'm offering you a safe place to come and talk about this. And while I might not agree with you, again, because it would be a good time to have a discourse, you should come on the show. I always open the door to say anybody from the left who wants to come on this channel and have a civil conversation, I'd be willing to take it on, because discourse, again, is how we're going to fix these problems. Goko Donnie giving another 10 Patriots Club memberships on the channel. My God, thank you. Yes, as Snatch said, you're Chad level tonight. Thank you. Thank you. Radio saying he gets very little views, not worth the time. It's not about the views. And that's what is important here, because he mentioned that I'm a guy who panders on YouTube. The point here, and the point I'm trying to make, and it all comes back to people like Justin Trudeau, when they constantly point out how phobic we are, how terrible we are, how we're part of the small fringe minority. They don't want discourse. They don't want civil conversation. I stated several times to this person, I'm not going to attack you. I'm not going to say you're wrong. I just want to hear why you think the world sees things this way, and maybe explain how we see the world. So while we can agree to disagree, we can have a discourse. And maybe learn something from each other. Now, again, proving my point beyond a signal level, and before I mute this person, this is the reason I wanted to show this, because I will be muting this person on Twitter, because they certainly don't deserve to see my content if they're going to hide me from theirs, is that the point here is that he tagged my page and defamatorily said that I said he can't be queer, that I said that he should hide, that I said that he should not reveal who he is to the public, that I'm some kind of phobic person. Now, you guys saw the thread, or at least as much of the thread as I could provide. I don't see where I said anything phobic and was unsupportive of this man's choices in life. But this is where the left, again, what this person wants to do is be treated they want to be put on a pedestal. They want to be put above society, to be told, you're so brave, you're so great, you're so amazing. You deserve, nothing but wonderful lifestyles, and for nobody to ever say anything mean to you or hurt your feelings. Here's where I got a little bit of a wake-up call for queer granddad. The world isn't all sunshine and rainbows. I get yelled at all day on YouTube for just being me and putting out videos. I've gone down the street and people call me short. People call me the fat guy. People do all sorts of things. People are jerks. There is no safe place for you in this world where someone is not going to scrutinize you for something. And the sooner you come to the realization that sometimes this world sucks, but you don't have to take it personal, the better off you're going to be. And that was essentially why I wanted to bring this person on the show, was to say, look, do we really need to go through this circus? Do we really have to constantly acknowledge that there's gay people in the world or that there's trans people in the world? Can't you just live your life and be happy? Why do we have to acknowledge it all the time? Why? User is back. Is it in here again? There it is, CB. Look at me. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Here we go. There's user. Let's ban user and delete their comments. There you go. Thank you for pointing that out, chat. Carson Sexsmith, another $5 super chat. I never get warnings from YouTube about your live streams. WTF, is Wednesday night a weekly thing? Carson, no. I was packing things up tonight. And I kind of just said, you know what? I usually do these surprise streams once a week. It just so happened it was this Wednesday, and I just kind of said, Thanksgiving just hit. We didn't do anything over the weekend aside from Friday night. Let's do a live stream. Let's have some fun with our audience. 660 of you currently sitting in the stream. Guys, get those thumbs ups in there. Thank you to so much to everybody who's joining us on this late chillin' chat. Eat Me with $2 super chat. You didn't put him on the back. It made him a mod? I don't think so. I just deleted and blocked this person. I don't see them in the chat anymore. Carson saying, I like your live streams. I like that you like my live streams. Thank you so much. DMAC saying we needed this chat tonight to let steam out. It's more than letting steam out. This is one of the best communities on the platform. So of course, when I'm sitting around, it's like, yeah, we gotta do a live. We gotta chat up. It's my world. $2 super chat. We love your books. Please keep writing them. I have talked about this before. I may have 1 to 2 more left in the tank. I don't want to oversaturate the market with these books. They barely sell anymore, to be honest. I mean, we brought out Just Axe the Tax in the summer. It's probably one of our poorest selling books to date. That's okay. But the point is that there clearly isn't as much of a demand for them as there used to be. It was a very niche thing. However, I'm not one to shy away from entertaining you guys. The problem is that I have to convince my illustrator to do the work, which is very tough on her end. For me, not so much. I get to write and put things together and promote. For her, hours and hours of drawing. But I do have some ideas. I'm going to finish off the Prime Minister series, and I'm thinking about close to election, possibly having a book. How the Prime Minister Went to Jail is going to be our final book in the How the Prime Minister series, because let's face it, once Justin Trudeau's gone, we can't really make more books about Justin Trudeau. Why would we want to see even a cartoon drawing of his face when he's gone? But I also want to do a spin on the classic tale of Pinocchio. I want to do a book that I'm working on currently called Trudeauchio. I'm not going to share too many of the ideas in that book, but we got some good ones coming in there, and it's going to be fun. But those 2 books are in the pipe right now. They are being worked on, and I do hope to bring them out in the future. Yeah, How the Prime Minister Went to Jail. Megan RP says, great title. How the Prime Minister went to jail is kind of the end of the whole Justin Trudeau saga. So we kind of want to go all out. We want to make it as unbelievable as possible. I'm looking forward to it. I think you guys are gonna have fun with that one when it comes out again, closer to election, unless we get the surprise snap election that there's rumored to be coming, and it wouldn't be finished on time. We'll still bring it out, but it's coming. So anybody who wanted to see Justin Trudeau in handcuffs, there's at least one way you're going to be able to see it. So it's going to be a lot of fun. It's it's going to be great. James saying it's going to be a bestseller. Listen, every single Unacceptable Fringe book we have brought out to date has been a bestseller. I'm sitting at 7. We're sitting at 7 best-selling books. I said, let's do 3 more. Let's get 3 more on the bestseller list and be the 10 time. That would be amazing. 10 best-selling books. I mean, how do you do anything else in life without saying you've hit the unreachable? It's Daphne, no, you didn't just make it. We're only 50 minutes in. We're still going. You're here for a good time. We're going to stick around for a while. John saying go out with a bang. From the book end of things, maybe, but there's other things I want to do. Again, um, there's a lot of things coming up on the channel. Again, once the move is complete, I'm still working out the kinks with Mrs. Fringe on what we're going to do in terms of a studio, to bring you guys a better looking show on Friday nights as well as regular videos. I know that when I'm putting out my current content, the overlays are a little dated. The channel's been the same since launch. I'm going to try fixing it up a little bit and trying to make things a little more interesting for you guys when this move happens, because I've often explained that when you watch these stream, Carson saying, I have 11 bestsellers. No, we're at 7. When I do these streams, when I do the videos, when I do anything else, I currently have to slide out this desk, all my lighting, my camera, into our basement family room, um, because I don't really have a dedicated space. So it's going to be good to have a studio. It's going to be good to have a place where everything's set up all the time. That if something drops in news, I can simply turn everything on, get a video out for you guys. It'll be a lot better, a lot cleaner. That being said, a lot of people, again, there were bad anger management. Make yourself a good, proper man cave. So, what we've done with the new house is I'm trying to decide. We have this den in the new house that's about the size of a secondary bedroom. We also have this entire basement that's undeveloped where I could essentially build a set. I could build a studio in that undeveloped basement. The problem is that again, in the middle of winter in Spruce Grove, it gets really cold. I don't know if I want to film videos in a cold basement in the middle of winter. It would be great in the summer when it's hot outside, but I'm going to have to take a look at the dimensions of the room. Again, when we looked at our house and we made an offer, we were poking our heads into rooms and just kind of looking around. We didn't really take it all in. So I'm going to have to wait till late November when we get into the house, take a final look and decide, where am I putting the arcade machines? Where am I putting the studio? Where's everything going to go? Um, it's going to be great. Monica saying, how can you improve a basement full of vintage pinball and video games? You'd be surprised how much flack I get for broadcasting in front of an arcade. I thought it was cool when I first started doing YouTube, and man, I get it all the time. Put the kids' toys away and be a man, be serious, have a serious set. Why? So I can be boring like everybody else? Come on. It's Master Snatch. Anything upstairs, kids are going to drive you nuts when you're trying to podcast. Um, I'm figuring it out. We're gonna get it figured out. You need asteroids? Oh, come on. I can't get a full asteroid. Those cabinets are heavy. I've got a multicade that has asteroids on it, but but I can't afford an asteroids machine. Um, let's see. What else do we have? Zaza saying I love the set. People say gamers are for children or with that boomer 1970s mentality. There you go. All Hell Seizure says MVC2 is the shit. That game was my childhood. Yeah, love my fighting games. It's great. I think it's going to be great. Now that coming up, I do have an announcement to make in terms of Calgary's meet and greet. That's where I wanted to get to. I didn't want to talk too much about Spruce Grove. Nobody cares about my personal life and moving. It's one thing I did talk about on last week's stream was that once everything went through, and now it looks like things are going through again. We have our inspection happening in this house tomorrow, so that the buyer can sign off on their conditions. We've got our bank currently assessing the current home. And appraising it so that they can get the contract signed. So everything's pretty much a done deal at this point. It's good to announce that I believe, let me just double check the calendar. Saturday, November 2nd, I will be doing a meet and greet in Calgary at 7 p.m. till 9 p.m. at Shanks South in Calgary. So if you're in Calgary and you want to meet me, bring your books. If you want them signed, if you want to just come and hang out and have a drink and chat with the Fringe and Mrs. Fringe, we'll both be there. We'll sign your books. We'll do selfies. We'll hang out. We'll do whatever you guys want. It's going to be a fun time. We chose Shanks because it's a larger location. I didn't want to choose a small pub where people have to cram in or anything like that. That's going to be overly busy. So it is open now. I will be putting out actual promo work for this so that people can have something to keep on their files, and so that we have an um, official date set. But it's going to be November 2nd. I'll announce it here tonight. Um, November 2nd from 7 till 9. Again, it's only that 2-hour window simply because everything that's going on right now, I've got to get this house packed, cleaned up, repairs done that aren't done yet. There's lawyers to deal with, there's papers to sign, there's last minute things to get wrapped up, all while still making content on YouTube, and also having a sitter to watch my 3 kids while we come and hang out with you guys at this meet and greet. So I could only make it for that 2-hour window. I hope everybody understands. Again, Shanks South, Calgary, November 2nd, 7 p.m. till 9. If you want to meet us, come on down there. Again, I'll be making a official statement with an ad, probably Friday. And then again, I'll have reminders in the community posts. I'll have reminders on Twitter. We'll have reminders in videos that's going on. So if you missed it or forget, you will be reminded. So looking forward to that, guys. I hope to meet a lot of you there. I know we have a lot of Calgary viewers and people around Calgary that are interested in this meet and greet. So again, I'm happy to do that. I'm happy to meet the fringes. There you go. Maybe that's what we'll call it. John, thank you so much. That's actually a really good one. DMAC, I could pack your stuff easy. I've moved about 40 in my life. There you go. So one of the things we did, because it's a late November move, I've actually hired movers. Now, in order to avoid paying like 10 grand on a move, I have offered to pack this house over the next month into the garage piece by piece until we have everything in there that we're not using, all the way up until moving day when everything will be packed into the garage, so that the movers essentially come here and load the house out of the garage so it's fast for them. And then moving day, they'll drive up to Spruce Grove and unload the entire truck into the house. I won't have to move anything in Spruce, in the snow, in the cold. That was my concern, was while I have help in Calgary and friends and things like that are willing to give a hand, we don't really know anybody in Spruce Grove. So it was kind of a, what are we going to do? How are we going to get all this in? Just the 2 of us with 3 kids and, a cat and a dog running around. It was going to be hell on wheels. So we just said, nah, we'll spend a little extra. We'll hire some movers. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to having that done. In terms of the packing, I've got a big garbage bin being dropped off in my driveway tomorrow because I have a lot of stuff in storage that I have to get out of this house. Anything that we're not taking with us when we move, it's got to go. So over the next week, I'm going to be doing that as well as getting the house packed. It's just a lot to get done. So again, I apologize if anybody says, 7 to 9's a short window. We're doing what we can. So anybody who wants to meet up, I hope you guys will be there. I hope you guys enjoy it. John saying, don't trust strangers in that new area before they try to rob your things. There you go. We have a cat and a dog living together. Yes, mass hysteria, Xylo. There's a Ghostbusters reference again. I appreciate that. I like that you threw that in. Yeah, it was going to be too hectic. So it's I'm looking forward to it. We've got some great stuff coming up on the channel in the near future as well. I wanted to get on. I've got, if you guys have ever seen Mike Freedom Honey in the chat, actually booked a sponsorship with his wife's business today. Really cool products. I'm not gonna say too much right now because I'm still ironing out the details. So I don't want to talk on them until I've got permission, I guess, or that the deal is done. But a really cool sponsorship that reached out to me and asked if they could put their products on this channel. Anybody who loves some curse word type paraphernalia and the funny sarcastic shirts and things like that, some cool stuff's coming this way. I'm looking forward to having that out here. Let me get into some Q&A because I'm seeing it start to flow in. And again, we don't want to keep talking about house stuff. Let's go in. Night of Philema, do you think Danielle Smith's new video about the emissions is a good thing? I think what Danielle Smith is trying to do right now is damage control. Keep in mind, she's got her AGM meeting coming up. We already know about paid actors that are going there to downvote Danielle Smith to try and get her leadership canceled. I think she's doing what she has to right now by playing politics. I don't want to weigh in on it too much. I didn't see the whole video. So again, I'll simply say from what I did see, I think she's just doing what she has to right now. I wish her all the best at the AGM. I hope things go well. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. You call a town paradise, kiss it goodbye? I'm not sure what that means. It's not really the town, it's the change of pace. It's getting away from big city. That's what I'm looking forward to anyways. What we got here? I want Danielle to quit giving money to Ottawa. She's already said she's going to stop. We've covered that on the channel. If they don't want to play ball, I think she should cut it all together. What we got here? Do you guys have any other Q&A? Daphne saying you have a lot of offers to help move on here. Yes, I understand. And I know that I don't want to be a burden on anybody. And honestly, we don't mind paying for the movers. We set that aside. We're good. But I do appreciate everybody offering. It's great. Is your channel of supporters now called the Fringe Family? I like that. Well, we could start that if that's what you guys want. By having the Patriots Club, I always call them Patriots, but hey, we can go with Fringe Family if you guys want. Daphne saying, I'm looking forward to you getting out of Dodge. You want me to leave Calgary, Daphne? I thought you liked me here. Okay, well, there you go. I'm just joking. I know what you mean by that. Felima, again, you think that other after the India mess and Trudeau's questioning today, the Bloc might up their time limit for an early election. So the Bloc had already stated that they were going to be entertaining offers as early this week from the Conservatives. The problem is that Parliament isn't moving right now. We don't have anything going on in Parliament. It's tough to say. You know, I was pretty sure that by now we'd already be hearing the rumblings of when that was going to be called. So many things have happened since then. We've heard about Trudeau's own party turning against him, writing letters to tell him to step down. He mildly addressed that in his press conference when talking about India. Your guess is as good as mine. I think what he's going to do now is just skate as far as he can until he has no choice but to call an election or he's kicked out. I hope it ups the timeline. We'll have to see. Barb saying, will you have books at the meet and greet? I could bring a small supply of books and sign them. I'd probably charge roughly the same as we did when we sold them on Shopify. So if you guys want me to have books at the meet and greet, I can bring some books to the meet and greet for you to purchase. We could do that if you like. Just know that the price is set when we come there because I have a price for those books and a price I have to sell them at. I can't wheel and deal because then it's not fair to anybody else buying them. But yeah, I can have books at the meet and greet. If we all help Derek move, we could meet each other. DMAC, we're going to get the meet and greet done when we move to Spruce too. We're doing a meet and greet in Spruce. So all you guys will have that opportunity too if you're out in that area. CB mentioning there's a lawsuit against the government equalization formula that Alberta should get involved with. I agree with that. I've seen that. I do want to cover a video on that. Do a poll. I bet Fringe Family will catch on quick. So JD, as we're into the Q&A already and we're in the processes of wrapping up the stream, I will do a poll on Friday's stream. We'll get it running then. Hopefully we'll see you in there on Friday and we'll see what people think. I'll run that by Mrs. Fringe. We'll see. We'll see what we come up with. Jason saying, what do you think about Farkas trying to run for mayor of Calgary again? So I reached out to Farkas when I was looking to run for mayor. And again, he didn't really allude to me that he was going to run. But I do believe that if he runs, he stands a very good chance of getting in. I think he was a fine candidate in the first run. I would definitely give him my endorsement if he ran. I think it's a good thing. I think it's great. Your thoughts on Diagolon? I don't know enough about them. I've met Ferryman once at a comedy show. Seemed like a nice enough guy. I don't really watch the content that much to know much about Diagolon. I know a lot of people see them as controversial. I've often said that I don't agree with the comments that were made about Pierre's wife. Um, I don't think Jeremy McKenzie's a terrible guy. That being said, I don't really have a problem with Diagolon. They don't really talk about me. I kind of keep my nose clean when it comes to other creators. I think that there's a certain message that they try to convey. I think they convey it well. Um, I wish them all the best. I, but I don't. I mean, if you're looking for juice on it, for me to dish on them, it's not going to happen. I don't know enough about them. Sorry. They seem like reasonable guys. Maybe get a little carried away at times, but that's part of their shtick, I think. It's how they do business. So that's yeah, that's what I think. Um, what was uh what was it with JT accusing the Freedom Convoy to have something with Russia? They're always accusing people with Russia. Do I take debit? No, it'll have to be cash. I don't have a debit machine. We don't do anything like that, so it'll have to be cash. They have ATMs at the bar. Um, that's the best I can do, man. I'm not a Walmart. It's let me see. Are there any more questions in the Q&A before we wrap up? I'm sorry, guys. I'm trying to get caught up with the chat here. Trying to get caught up in the chat. Trudeau's a commie gifting 5 unacceptable fringe Patriots Club memberships into the chat. Thank you so much, Trudeau's a commie. I appreciate that. Diagolon can back up their opinions. Yeah, I like that too. I like I said, I got nothing against anybody. I think they do things a certain way, and people resonate with it. So yeah, Diagolon regular guys a little too much raunch. Government needs to be sued for calling them terrorists. I agree with that. It's defamatory. Jeremy McKenzie served, and if he ever watches this show, thank you for your service. I think anybody who served in the military, I think that anybody putting their life ahead of anybody else's for this country is an amazing sacrifice to make. I don't think that just because you disagree with their opinions that you have the right to call them terrorists. Yeah, it's too bad. Derek, did you watch the inquiry today? I did watch the inquiry today. I have a video coming up on it tomorrow. So I didn't want to talk too much about it tonight. And then again, Friday Night Fringe, we'll be talking a little bit more about it. So keep your eyes open for that. I'm just checking the chat here. Oh my God, you need a Grind My Gears segment once a week. The problem with Grind My Gears is it's copywritten. I can't steal the copyright to Grind My Gears. Well, I'll do something. I'll do something fun. Ingrid nailing it right there. Trudeau terrorizes us as Canadian people. Yeah. Yeah. Oh my God, that voice. Oh, it's so amazing. I could talk like this all day. Oh, I could talk like Stewie and say, welcome to the chat. Get some Cool Whip. That'll be good. You know what really winds my wheels? Nah, it doesn't sound as good. It's that's funny. One of the guys from One Direction just died. Oh, that's too bad. I've heard of the band. I've never heard a song by One Direction. At least I don't think I have. Still sad anytime somebody leaves this earth. It's let's go. Oh, it's cool doing Stewie's voice. I appreciate that, says Gracie. I do. Do you know President Jimmy Carter's still alive? Probably about as alive as Joe Biden, but yeah, it's oh my God. You know what really busts my balls? Yeah, I could do that one. That'd be more of an Eric Cartman thing, wouldn't it? Yeah, you're making my balls. A seal goes into a bar. He orders a drink. What is it? Oh, come on. Come on. Steve, please, I hope this isn't a dad joke. I hope it isn't a dad joke. He fell off the balcony, 3rd floor in a hotel. Oh, geez, that's terrible. That's terrible. You know what really chafes my ass? That'd be a good one too. I'm stalling in the chat, guys. I'm just having so much fun reading your comments. Again, part of the reason I stream tonight, I always love hanging out with my chat. What says Derek saying $1,700 for a new iPhone 16? Am I the only one who doesn't get? Hey Lois, can you get me a beer? Who says I don't understand the price of cell phones these days. I know this isn't politics, but I'm really blown away. So when my wife and I upgraded to new phones this year, we had to lease our phones. That's now an option. So I remember when the government turned around and said that you can't do 3-year contracts anymore, that they have to be no more than 2 years, that certain fees couldn't be applied to bills anymore because they were trying to make things better for Canadians. It never works that way. It always ends up with businesses twisting things in order to make it more profitable for them. And now that they're coming out with these phones that are basically computers, high-end computers, I can buy a gaming PC, a really crappy one, but a built gaming PC pre-built from somewhere like Best Buy for $1,000. But I have to buy $1,700 on a phone? I don't get it. I really don't get it. Not to mention a phone that gets bricked within 2 years because the company that makes it keeps putting out software updates that slow it down and run the battery dry so that you have to get a new phone. I don't think you should be charging $1,700 for a phone or be allowed to charge $1,700 for a phone. It's ludicrous. So with our phone lease, we pay an increase on our bill every month. And then at the end of our term, it's like a car lease. You either give the phone back or you can buy it out for a couple $100. What? Like, why? It's a phone. What was it they said in Lethal Weapon? They F you on the phones. They F you on the phones. They they do. It's ridiculous the way they do business these days. My wife and I, so prior to our phone upgrade, we had the iPhone 11 Pro Max, both of us. So what was it? Somebody said was it the iPhone 16 or 17? That's $1,700. I think it's the 16. They said. Is that what they're up to now? It's Leo. Shut the hell up. There you go. Somebody got the joke. They're up to the 16. Okay. So we had the 11 Pro Max. I had it when it launched. And I used the phone all the way up until today. In fact, that's the phone I use for these live streams. I use it as my camera because I found that it was just as good a camera as a SLR. It works just as well. So believe it or not, this video is being shot on an iPhone 11 Pro Max. But when it came time that the battery wasn't lasting as long as it used to, when apps were slow, when everything was slow, because we all know how Apple downgrades their phones with their software updates. After multiple years, my wife and I said, okay, it's time for a new phone. My children had abused her phone. So we went into a store where we were paying roughly $35 a month for our cell phones. We got a really good deal with Shaw Cable when they came out with cell phones, where if you brought your own device, it was $35 a month, unlimited calling in Canada, unlimited data. It was a never deal. So we went from a combined $70 a month phone plan to almost $200 a month to lease 2 new phones and have to pay more because Rogers bought out Shaw Cable and it's now a part of Rogers. So we have to pay an arm and a leg now. We have to pay an extra $100 plus a month just to have new phones and get the same experience, which by the way sucks compared to when I had Shaw. I get worse reception with Rogers than when I was with Shaw on a smaller network. Mr. Steeler Blocks, $5 super chat, went from the Pixel 1 to a Pixel 6 Pro, not upgrading until Pixel 27. F that. Yeah, I hear you. Thank you for the super chat. We upgraded to the Galaxy S24 plus 24 plus, I think it is, whichever. It comes with a stylus. But I like having phones with the larger screens because I just find I can get more done with them that way. I can see more. I can move things around better. I know I'm old, but it's It's insane, the price of phones. Did I hear about the Pokemon leaks? No, I'm not 12. No, I haven't heard about Pokemon leaks. I don't follow Pokemon. I'm sorry. Love my video games, but I don't follow Pokemon. That was a little past my generation. Pokemon became a big thing like when I was like 18, 19 years old. Daphne Divine, I refuse to pay the monopoly companies a freaking dollar. Yeah. And the internet's ridiculously priced too, says DMAC. Yes, it is. So we pay over $100 a month just for basic internet. And what's funny is that anytime I go back to Manitoba to visit my friends, they pay significantly less. And they say, well, that's based on the province per capita. So if you live in Ontario, you pay more for your services than you pay for in, say, Saskatchewan because of the per capita basis. Even when we went to the United States in the summer, when I was with Shaw Cable on our phones, we paid a flat rate, I think, of about $20 to add that we could go into the United States and essentially use our phones the same as always. No extra charges. When I did it with Rogers, it was $25 a day when we were in the United States. It was ridiculous. I asked because there's some perverted stuff revealed. Pokemon meaning, oh, that's like Rule 34 stuff. That's, yeah. 140 here in Brandon for internet? Oh my goodness. That's insane. No one has cable anymore. I don't know a lot of people. So my old man still has cable, and I keep telling him, cut the cord. Just get rid of it. 90% of the TV I watch is on YouTube. It's YouTube, or I torrent sometimes. Amazon Prime. And the only reason I have Prime is because I have an Amazon account for shipping my books to the house, because it saves on the costs. And Prime Video is included with your Prime membership. But yeah, we haven't had cable in like almost 10 years. A lot of people are saying the same. They don't use cable. IPTV, yeah, we tried that at one point. The problem with IPTV was that the person who provided it to us, it kept going out. We used to have keep getting new codes, kind of like when they had satellite dishes back in the day. So we stopped doing that. 100% of my TV is YouTube, Rumble, apps. Yeah, a lot of people use that now. That's the way people go. Even I find with movies, like if I like a movie enough, I'll usually buy the movie on YouTube. Mostly because then if I go on the road, you just log into your YouTube and all your movies are there. So like if you're staying in a hotel, if I'm out with the kids in the car and they want to watch a movie, we can download it because we have YouTube Premium. So they can download in the car and watch their movies, which is good. We don't buy a ton of movies, but it's like if it's something that came out like Deadpool Wolverine, I bought on YouTube. Or no, I bought that on Prime because they didn't have a 4K version on YouTube. Either way, certain movies I'll buy on YouTube, but not many. Just enough that I permanently want them and want to support them. I need to cut my Netflix. Yes, you do. Netflix is a joke. It's terrible. It's absolutely terrible. We had Netflix up until last year, and the only reason we had it was because my father had it, and he shared the account with everybody. And we were talking to him a couple months ago at a dinner, and he said, do you guys still watch Netflix? Because I haven't turned it on in ages. And I said, Netflix is garbage. It's crap. The only reason we still have it is because the kids are watching it, or else we would have uninstalled it. I told them, get rid of it. And every 3 months, they keep upping the price and saying that, well, if you want to watch it on 4K with this many devices, or if you want to be able to access certain content, you have to pay this much. I've heard that Netflix is coming out with a new package that if you want their exclusive shows, you have to pay by the show now, or something along those lines. So they can nickel and dime you that way. So like you get basic Netflix, or you can pay extra. This is where these companies are going to get a rude awakening. When cable did the same thing. And what's funny is that when Netflix first came out, people stopped going to Blockbuster. They stopped renting things because they liked the convenience of Netflix. Everybody says, oh, it's so convenient. What you don't realize when you're doing these things and participating in them is you're cutting out the old methods. You're now paying for multiple streaming services that equivalent more money than what you paid for cable. And everybody thought, well, it's only $7.99 for Netflix. I'm saving money. The same thing went on with my Xbox when people said, oh, look at Game Pass. Game Pass is so cheap. You pay your $15 a month. You get access to all these games. It's so great. And day one releases. The reason they make it so good for you is so that once they have their customer base and they've taken care of their competitors, they cut it off. Because where else are you going to go? So now companies like Microsoft are saying with Game Pass, well, instead of bringing our games to you day one, you can have Game Pass, but you're going to pay extra for that tier that you get our games day one. That's the problem. The same thing with Netflix. Oh, you like our exclusive shows? The only good content we have on this platform, the only content that people actually watch? Well, you can pay extra for that now. Look at Amazon Prime. They started introducing commercials, even though you pay for a Prime membership. And in the United States, you have the option to pay extra, just like YouTube, to knock out the commercials. How's that fair? Get a VPN? Yes. I loved arcade game machines. I love them too, Bonnie. In fact, I put my Donkey Kong Jr. up for sale the other day just because I don't know if I want to move it. I don't know if I'm going to have the space for it in the new house. So if you know anybody who's looking for a Donkey Kong Jr. machine. Darren W. Hi from Spruce Grove. Late to the chat tonight. What's the main topic tonight? We're kind of winding up, Darren, but welcome in. It's great to have you in here. You got to watch these streaming services regardless, guys. Any of these services, anytime they come out with something, you know what I always go back to is the first thing that I was told in business school. If something looks too good to be true, it usually is. And that's kind of where the world's going right now. All these companies, look at Uber Eats, look at DoorDash, look at all these companies that did these things in the beginning to be, oh, look how convenient it is. Look how easy it is. Delivery drivers from regular restaurants got fired because the company said, well, everybody's using Uber Eats and DoorDash. So regular drivers got fired, rates went up, costs went up. Now, when you order those things, at least to my understanding, because I've never used the service, is that you now order your food, which is double the price anyways. And then you're told, what are you tipping the driver in advance so that they can decide if they're going to bring you your food quickly or not. And then you can pay a premium to have them put you at the top of their list to bring you your food. So here's my question. If a driver picks up 7 orders and all 7 people have paid for that privilege, how do you know who's getting to the top of the list? You're all just getting the same service as before. It's just they're making more money. They add all these extra incentives in to get you. It was the same thing with Uber when they started picking people up as taxi cabs. Oh, look how affordable it is. Look how great it is. People said, oh, the taxi cabs can take a hike. They're too expensive. Look how cheap an Uber is. Well, now when you order an Uber, oh, do you want a premium car? Do you want a smaller car? Do you want the car to be there within 5 minutes, or do you want them to be there in up to 2 hours? If you want it faster, pay for the convenience. That's how they get you, because now the cab companies, well, they don't have as many cabs on the road. So you're screwed. You have no other choice. Everybody, when they see these kind of services, should just turn away from them. I don't care how convenient it is. This is how they screw everybody. Uber's has so much crime with that. Yeah, I've heard stories. I don't take Ubers. I don't order DoorDash. I don't do any of that stuff. I don't use the service. I don't have an Uber account. I remember being somewhere and somebody had to order me an Uber once because I refuse to get an account. And if I hadn't been drinking, I wouldn't have accepted the ride. But it's all these companies are coming out to one up the other now to try and seem like they've got the better deals, and then they screw you over. Because once they've got you locked in, it's like Goodfellas, where just when I think I'm out, they pull me back in. You've got no choice. You're stuck, right? The same thing happens with Amazon. And guys, I'm guilty of it too. My wife's guilty of it. She now orders, my wife, I've mentioned it before, she shops on this site called Shein, where she orders her clothing from. She doesn't go shopping anymore. She doesn't go out. And she says, oh, Shein is so cheap. It's so affordable. It's so great. I can just order whatever I want. I can see the reviews before I order it. Comes to the door. And if I don't like it, I just send it back. Isn't it better to go to a store and try them on in person? And if you don't like them, you don't buy them? You don't have to go to the post office. You don't have to fart around. Like, isn't that the point of going out and going shopping? I have never once purchased clothing online, so I wouldn't know anything about it. I go to a store. if I'm going to buy my clothes, because I want to know what I'm buying. I want to know how it fits. I want to know what I'm getting into. I get there's inconveniences to going out in public. But all of these services are turning us into a society of people that are just doing everything from home. We're getting charged up the rear for it, and we're not getting any benefit. Even Amazon. You're going to see so many stores. You've already seen so many stores going out of business. They can't survive because they're competing with Amazon, with Walmart. My local Walmart, CB saying you need to touch grass. Canada RV, I hate shopping as much as the next guy, but I prefer that if I'm trying on some clothes or if I'm going to buy something, I can see it. I can touch it. I know if I want it. And if I don't, I put it back and leave. But how inconvenient is it to order something, wait however many days for it to show up, then, oh, I didn't like this. Now I'm going to go put it in a box, send it back in the mail, and hope that I get my refund quickly. Trudeau's Economy, $10 super chat. Have a good night. All stay safe. Thank you for popping in, Trudeau's Economy. Thank you for your super chat and your gifted memberships tonight. The problem is that all these businesses are going under, even big retail chains. Like, I was talking to a friend of mine about Best Buy the other day. If you go into a Best Buy now, there's no electronics in the stores. Like, if you go to buy, say, like a DSLR camera, at one point I was thinking about swapping out the camera that I currently use and getting a DSLR because it's more professional. And I walked into the store and I said, well, I'm looking at a Sony camera or whatever it was. And they said, oh, well, we don't actually have them in store. I said, what do you mean? They said, well, everybody just orders them online now. Okay. So what do you keep in the store? Well, mostly televisions. The video games are here. But if you order a computer, it's got to be online. If you're getting appliances, they deliver them. So you don't get them in store unless they're smaller appliances. Pretty much the majority of the stuff they keep in their stores are crap. It's junk. The good stuff that people actually buy now, you have to get online. And there's like 3 people working in the Best Buy. Now, if you go into a Best Buy in the United States, at least the ones that I went into when I was in the US last summer and the year before, they're barren. There's nobody working in there. There's no products on the shelf. It's essentially real estate for you to go in and wander around in and leave with nothing. And if you want something, you get educated by a staff member and you buy it online. Best Buy, I think, will be gone in less than 5 years. They will cease to exist. All these companies are competing with places like Walmart and Amazon. My local Walmart, I cut off on a super chat. They've put in our parking lot like half of a row of stalls for online pickups. So you don't even go in the store now. And anytime, like, I went grocery shopping on the weekend, there's all these paid employee shoppers with these giant carts in the aisles. You can't even get through them now. And I was standing there and I was like, oh God. And this one lady wouldn't get out of my way. Finally, she moved and said, sorry. And I said, it's just a little silly that the aisles are so small and your guys' carts take up 3/4 of the aisle. She says, well, you can order online if you don't want to wait. Why? I want to know what I'm buying. I want to go get it. I want to get out of my house. I want to, still go out in society. As much as I hate people sometimes, I still like to get out of the house. Like CB says, go touch grass. Best Buy in Abbotsford is 2 floors. We test Wi-Fi speakers before we buy them. Okay. I mean, that's good, but online stores, self-checkout will kick brick and mortar stores. Yeah, of course they will. They're all gone. The problem with all of it is that when you look at DoorDash, when you look at Uber Eats, when you look at all these delivery companies, you look at Walmart, you look at Amazon, these big companies that are set to put everybody else out of business. The deals seem good. I hear people talking all the time, oh, it's Prime Day, I got to go get my deals. What happens when everything in retail is gone? How long do you guys think shopping malls are going to exist for? I give it less than 10 years. Some of the malls are already like wastelands. Nobody uses them anymore. And the items that are there are too expensive compared to online because they have to pay for the retail space. So online retail has killed retail stores. So once they do that, once they finally get the last foot in the grave and all the retail's gone and everything is either on Amazon, Walmart, Costco, you name it, those only few, less than 10 that exist worldwide for you to get your stuff. How do you think the pricing is going to work then? Do you think there's still going to be deals? Do you think places like Uber delivery, Uber Eats, DoorDash, do you think those guys are going to have prices where they are right now? I'm not even going to say good prices because their prices are ridiculous. Derek saying video killed the radio star. That's essentially what's happening here. I did a Walmart grocery pickup last Friday. They messed up 4 items out of the 15. So what happens when, again, it's all pickup? What happens when it's all pickup? And they screw up your orders and then you're stuck in a line of cars trying to get it fixed. Have you been to Marlboro lately? No, I don't go up to that end of town very often. A good example, look at the war on Halloween. You want anything decent for Halloween decorations, pop-up stores or online. So yeah, we go to Spirit Halloween every year and it's a pop-up store. Same thing. And the prices are ridiculous. I'm going to be completely honest. So Mrs. Fringe and I, so I've shown everybody my Proton pack. I have a movie authentic Proton pack as well as Ghostbusters outfit. I'm probably going as a Ghostbuster for the next 20 years for Halloween. When we take out our kids and when we go out to parties and stuff. Mrs. Fringe, I went in and they had the same life-size replica Proton pack the other day. She said, I'll do Ghostbuster with you. So bought her the suit. So we're both going as Ghostbusters as a couple. It's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to it. But when you look at the price of those things, Jesus, pardon my blasphemy, but I would need Jesus after spending the money that was spent procuring my wife a Ghostbusters costume. It's busting does make me feel good, but the money spent does not, especially when we're paying thousands to lawyers, moving companies, assessments, all these other things to get done before we move into our house. It's not a good time to be spending money. It is what it is, but it's DMAX says I'm going to be Mad Max. I mean, that's a cool costume if you got it. We have a collection of animatronics from Spirit Halloween that I procured years ago, like 2010, 2013 era. And they were relatively affordable. I think the most I spent on some of them was like $150. Now they're like $450, $500 for some props. It's insane. Because again, everybody uses those pop-up stores now. They can charge whatever they want. Where else are you going to get it? Eat me with a $5 super chat. Circuit City got rid of all appliances. It was the death of the company. Best Buy bought them out and they're reproducing the same model. Yeah. Yeah. We don't talk about Ghostbusters 2016 in this house. That's blasphemous. And you're saying I'm going to go as a black lady? Come on. Come on. Leslie Jones is not funny. I remember we tried to watch that movie and we shut it off in the first half hour. It was just unbearable. And I was told that the majority of that movie was improvised. There was no script. From what I understand, it was terrible. I will never watch that movie. That is not my Ghostbusters. Goko with a $10 super chat at 55. I'm going as a grumpy old man. I'll nail it. Go as a fed up Canadian. That's even better. Get an F Trudeau flag. There you go. That's it's funny because I don't get my kids involved in politics. And my daughter and my son wanted to go. Now they don't know a lot about PDF files. We don't talk about those things in the house, but they've heard my wife and I talking about Joe Biden, like sniffing kids' hair and stuff. My son wanted to go as Joe Biden and have my daughter running away from him while he was trying to sniff her hair all night. And I laughed so hard and said, no, we're not doing that. It's not going to happen because they don't get why he's sniffing people's hair. And I said, no, we're not doing that. It's not happening. But I give kudos to my kids for having that sense of humor and trying to get in that joke. We're one of those families that Halloween is essentially our Christmas. We do couples costumes all the time. We do themed costumes. When my 10-year-old daughter Harley was one, well, she would have been 1.5, I guess, at the time. We had a Halloween party where we dressed her up as Chucky, and my wife and I did Freddy and Jason. We always do fun things. It's he needs the ice cream cone too. Yeah, absolutely. That'd be funny. That'd be funny. You should dress up as a nightstand. When people ask what you are, you can say you're a one night. Oh, there, a dad joke. Insert dad joke here. Snatch. Come on. You're a one night stand. That's funny. Ladies and gents, I'm going to wrap up the stream. We're already an hour and 40 into this. I had a blast talking with you guys tonight. Thank you to everybody again for the super chats, for the memberships tonight. Gimster, $6.99 super chat. Carson Sexsmith with your super chat. Steal Your Blocks, JM Unleashed, Gogo Divine with the absolute Chad level tonight. Who else? Eat Me. It's My World. Trudeau's a commie. Did I miss anybody else? No, that's everybody. Thank you so much for all the support tonight, guys. The support of watching this stream in general, for being here, for your thumbs up, for your comments. Guys, join me this Friday for Friday Night Fringe. It's going to be a great night with Mrs. Fringe. We're going to talk a little bit about the inquiry. We're going to talk about Justin and all of his antics. I think it's going to be a great time. I think you guys should be looking forward to that one. It's going to be good. Again, if you missed the announcement, meet and greet will be November 2nd in Calgary, Shanks South, 7 to 9 p.m. Again, I will remind everybody in the live streams leading up to that day, as well as I'll have community posts. I will have a flyer go out about it, a digital flyer. So keep your eyes peeled for that if you forget about it after this stream. Big shout out again to everybody who was here tonight. Thank you for joining us in the streams. I hope you guys have a great rest of your week. Make sure to tune in tomorrow for my video on the inquiry. It's going to be a good one. And I guess I'll see you guys Friday night. Look after yourselves. Take care. We'll talk.